Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Monday, the 11th of April, the Monday of Holy Week. With Robert Murray McShane, we keep reading through the book of Proverbs, and today we read chapter 29. In verse 4, he writes, "By justice a king gives a country stability, but those who are greedy for bribes tear it down." And I read that and I thought, my goodness, have we not seen this actually played out in our society, in our country, where we look back at the whole scandal around Jacob Zuma's presidency and the people that were on the take and enriching themselves, the corruption that was so prevalent. And we see what happened to the country. The roads are crumbling, the railways don't work, the electricity is intermittent. The whole country has suffered, has been torn down by the corruption that was part of the political elite. And so as Solomon looked at the world and looked at what was going on in the kingdoms, he could see this so clearly. Where there's corruption, where there's somebody wanting to have bribes, the rest of the country suffers as a result. And again, a little later in verse 12, he writes, "If a ruler listens to lies, all his officials become wicked." And we've seen that as well. The number of people, it was very easy to look at Jacob Zuma and say, that's the problem. But he was surrounded by people, by wicked people, that were also going to line their own pockets and do what they couldn't share with their friends. And so you have one corrupt leader being surrounded by wicked people, and everyone suffers as a result. And as I look at the world today, I wonder if Vladimir Putin isn't surrounded by people that tell him lies, not to deceive him, but to just tell him what he wants to hear. He looks like the kind of man that you don't give him bad news. You don't tell him his plans aren't working. You don't tell him the truth. You tell him what he wants to hear. And as a result, you're telling lies, and he ends up building his visions and his ideas and his policies on those lies, and you end up with a disaster that we see unfolding in the Ukraine. So 3,000 odd years ago, Solomon, looking at the world, saw the truth, and it's a truth that we see today. And I suppose for us, the real challenge is to recognize that in God's word there is this kind of truth. And we need to read it, think it through, and apply it in our lives. And our prayer is, God, let your word shape our lives day by day. So pray that prayer. Read God's word. Let him change you so that we will become part of the solution to the problems that wickedness creates in our world. Be blessed.